Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Double tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man who is inside. Pull back and tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle.
No one shows. Go right by them and field inside.
If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
Y'all said, man, you blew Clayton out. Nobody on the screen here. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Packers Total Access Postgame Show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. So the Packers drop a heartbreaker in the Meadowlands, 24-22 to the Giants. You see the ticker. That's the only thing we need on the ticker tonight, guys. That's a tough one for sure. Man, I will say this, though. Outside of the Saints game, probably the most exciting game we've watched all year. I know people were upset, people are aggravated, people are frustrated, all those things, but that was a fun game to watch, man. The turnovers, tough, really tough. Obviously, that's the story of the game for me. You can't turn the ball over 3 times and expect to win a ball game. The Malik Heath grab, both of them. Pretty cool that Jay Love decided to go to Heath in both situations with the game on the line. Really thought that was cool. Says a lot about how they feel about Malik Heath. Heck of a grab and to get it over the pylon. But there at the end, man, I'm watching them kind of slowly move the ball down the field, Tim, and I'm thinking, all right, man, stay in shell, force a long field goal.
And what do we do? We go to man coverage and get blown up.
and online, everybody on Twitter, this prevent defense, I'm going, you're not even listening to Hall of Famer Troy Aikman say they were in man coverage. You're just toting the same old line. So again, we got our precious man coverage. What did I say on the pregame show? When somebody asked, what's the advantage of playing that shell, playing that style defense, right, Tim? What did I say? The disadvantage is when you play man coverage, you give up explosive plays. You gave up a huge explosive play and gave him a chip shot field goal. Now, listen, is that on Joe Barry? Absolutely. Absolutely. He needs to, in my opinion, excuse my language, I apologize, but he needs to nut up and sit down with everybody and say, listen, either we run this defense or we don't. But this wishy-washy in between, it's got to stop. Remember the pass interference earlier in the game, Tim? Man coverage. All the explosive plays through the air today came against man coverage. Also, which defense do you think it's easier to scramble on? Which we can look at the box score here. Mr. DeVito had, 10 carries for 71 yards. Which one do you think it's easier to scramble on? Zone or man? So, it's worked this year from time to time, playing aggressive like that. Tonight it didn't. That's just that's what it is. But like someone else pointed out too, Tim, and I'll get your take here, man. Someone else pointed out, why do you leave that much time on the clock, when you're down there trying to score a touchdown at the end of the game? It's a good point. It's a valid point. You're going no huddle when you've only got, a limited amount of time. You don't want to leave too much time on the clock for the Giants. But at the same time, your top priority there, man. It's hard for me to fault LaFleur in that because you're just trying to get in the end zone somehow, some way, right? Last thing you want to do is use up every second and not get in the end zone. So it's kind of how I see that. What's your initial thoughts, man? I can see it on your face there. You're hurting a little bit, just like we all are. But I do want to say this. I think Jake has the top comment of the night already. He said, hello, is this October? That felt like October, didn't it, man?
Yeah, and, I don't want to pick on anyone, but obviously the worst game I've ever seen Keyshawn Nixon play.
It was bad, man.
Certainly in his time here. And mistakes that really cost us. We talk about that busted coverage there at the end. That really I mean, that was when I'll be honest, I had to walk away. I had to walk outside and take a breath. And when I saw that, I stopped charting, and I knew it was over when I saw that. And so that was sad. And then, the muff punt, and then you're basically giving them a touchdown on that. I mean, again, I'm not going to pick on Keyshawn, but we didn't get great games out of a lot of guys today. But then we did have some really nice games from a few guys today. And, it's kind of cool. We talked about pregame. I said, Malik Heath sighting inbound today, and we got it. We got it there towards the end. Like you said, he was getting those targets in crunch time. I wish we that Tutter would have stood the first time, but we get back down there, go right to him. And he played big boy football down near the goal line there, man. That was just great. So it wasn't all bad. And a lot of this is definitely a team loss, guys. I mean, our staff let us down at times tonight. Our players let us down at times tonight. The special teams let us down. The offense let us down. The defense let us down. It was, you win and lose as a team. And this is exactly what Coach LaFleur talked about. We saw this coming a mile away. We talked about trap game. We talked about this for days on end. This team came in there, and this is the result. And here, I hope it humbles them. I hope these guys are humbled by this experience. But yeah, it was a little disheartening to see our defense give up that those plays there at the end. I really thought for a second there that we'd hold them. We would get out of there and we'd squeak out with that 1-point victory, but it just wasn't in the cards tonight, I guess.
Yeah. Trying to go through and mark some of the comments because there's some really good ones in here, man. Josh Martin, first of all, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He said, the old Jordan Love is back. Bad game, man. Hey, that PFF grade is going to be – that's what was so – like I was already drawing it up in my mind when they were going down to score the go-ahead touchdown. Like, even with all these mistakes, we can win this game. And when we scored, I'm like, let's go, dude. If the defense can just hold up. Do you talk about the momentum that's created in having that bad of a game and still getting the dub? I mean, that stuff can really carry over momentum too. But yeah, Jordan Love's it was bad. It was bad. The passes in the first half, man, there were a bunch of wobblers. Now, you gotta step back and say, is this the normal baseline Jordan Love or the last 3 games? Like we said, the last 3 games seem to have been the peak to this point, right? So just like anything, it's like this. Success is like this. It's not like this, right? You're going to have steady setbacks. So I still believe in Love. I do. And someone actually tagged me on Twitter. So let me guess, you're going to still say Love's the guy? Yeah. At this point, I have to. Yeah. Did we think he was going to finish the rest of the season not turning the ball over? Like, that's the thing, too. Like, you got unrealistic expectations if we're sitting here pretending like he's not going to have another bad game the rest of the year. And the crowd that was out screaming, fire fire Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love's not the guy. They're back. All of a sudden, they're back. They disappeared for 3 games, but now they're back. And you get into the point where you just got to ignore them, Tim. You got to, and, like the last tweet I put out was like, everybody should take note of the people who seem like they're happy. They're excited right now. They get to brag that the Packers lost tonight. Those aren't real fans. They're just not, man. So anyway, Josh, thank you for the super chat. But yeah, I can't argue with you there, man. That's one of the worst games Jordan's played all year, right? But you're going to have those inconsistencies. There's no doubt about it. Greg Rice in the chat says, brutal. I don't know what we're doing, but we keep making mobile quarterbacks that can't throw look like world beaters. DeVito, 158 yards rushing. Did he have 158 yards?
No, that's not accurate.
Let's see. I'm going to check.
71 on the ground, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know where. I don't have my notes in front of me because I honestly don't know where I on my notebook. Might be under the couch or behind the television. I don't know, but I'll find my notes for Good Morning Lambeau for sure.
No, you're good, dude. You're good. I've got some quarter notes here we'll hit on. First quarter, here was the notes I had for the first quarter. Love, extremely inaccurate. Penalties galore on special teams. My God, Rudy Ford. And I still don't know about that blindside block.
Oh, that was total BS. How do you blindside block a guy that you're facing? I don't know how. I don't know what that was. That was kind of.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Carrington Valentine pass interference. I don't know if you guys noticed, but literally when they met at the mesh point, the receiver grabbed Carrington's face mask and he got called for pass interference. So Not sure how that works. If anything, it should have been offsetting penalties, but that's not the reason they lost this game.
No.
So we need to be – let's don't go the Pat Mahomes route here.
Yeah,
Dylan looked good in the passing game again, Tim, catching and running, man. Really turned it on there in the first quarter. And then, of course, you had Reed with the touchdown run. What were you going to say, buddy?
Oh, no, I just Dylan looked good today. I totally co-sign that. Patrick Taylor looked pretty good for us too today at times. So, it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all a dumpster fire, but I don't know. This is not good. I'll tell you that. It's not good to be in. What are we in now? A 5-way tie for the wild card or something?
Yeah, it's wild. I think there's like 5 or 6 teams that are now at 6 and 7.
Yeah. Well, we can officially end all the nonsense. We're going to win the division talk. So that's over with now.
Yeah,
that's done. That ended tonight.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see. Let's go back to the chat here real quick. Red Mo said, I called Tommy Danny so many times tonight. Danny Dimes. Hey, you got to give him credit, man. He played a good game. He played within what they were giving him. The defensive line. People remember in the pregame show, we're going to get 6 sacks. We're going to get 5 sacks. We're going to get 4. Not one sack. Not one. They just kept rushing up the field past him. He'd step up, take off, and run. And again, when you're playing man coverage, your back is to the quarterback. And I know they didn't play man coverage 100% of the time tonight, but on a lot of those scrambles, we're going to go back and watch Chalk Talk. I'll be very, very surprised if I find myself going, no, that was zone. Because I'm telling you, man, there was nobody looking at the quarterback because they were all, for the most part, had their back to the QB. Chris N says Kaepernick signing in New York. Everybody's got a little PTSD from Kaepernick. There's no doubt about that. Greg Ross says so much for feasting on sacks. Absolutely. Paul Robertson, Jordan Love looked rattled most of the game. He did early. It's crazy, too, because the one positive you could take out is he kind of settled down at the end. He kind of down at the end. And
I'll be interested to see how the line grades out because the pass pro didn't look that that great today.
Yeah, when they hit home on that 4-man rush, it was like, oh, man, right there in the fourth quarter. That was the embarrassing part for me. F1 Groiper, I guess how you say it. Embarrassing 2-point call from LaFleur. Yep. I didn't like it either, but if he gets in, we all love it, right? But I agree. It's just like you're having success spreading them out, and then you go to just kind of the what was it? It was a end around to Jaden Reed, am I thinking right? Kind of like a sweep or something.
Yeah, look, another jet motion type deal or
something. Run 8 yards horizontally when you only need 2 vertically.
Right, like just once. I'd like to let's throw it back, man, and just pound the ball. Give it to Dylan inside zone or something. Just pound it, little tush push, and get in there, or set that up and then run that that read option.
Yeah,
but we saw Jordan in the early on running that read option, and that cost us that turnover. Yeah. That was him. He took a bad angle. He should have ran that out. To the pylon. When you stop your feet like that in the NFL, and you think you're going to shuffle and juke someone, it's very rare that it happens. We do see guys do it, but that hurt us right there. But so did a lot of the gadget plays. You're right. I mean, let's stay on topic here. I mean, LaFleur went to a lot of those, and we had one of them work. I think one of them turned out pretty good for us. We were like 1 for 5 on, reverses, and I don't know. I just felt like should have played a little more straight up. I guess I think he got a little too cute, which has been something that we've talked about before. Right. But I also understand that too. You're trying to catch a team off guard, and we all know Wink Martindale is his nemesis. This is another, and you can kiss the undefeated in December and all that. I'm almost glad now talking this out. I'm almost glad that this happened. Matt LaFleur finally lost a game in December. We can stop with that nonsense statistic that means absolutely nothing without Super Bowl rings. So, I don't know. I thought he was. I thought everyone looked uncomfortable from the get-go on both sides of the ball. Our staff. I don't think we didn't look good. Look good.
United Bates with a super chat says, positive note before I lose my chart. Alone after the pod, I believe Tim called Heath for an impact on the pregame. That was an amazing touchdown catch. First thing I thought of was Tim was calling it on Malik, man. Malik Heath. Two touchdown, 2 game winning.
Yeah, right. Both of those touchdown grabs were impressive.
Yeah, it was. But thank you, United Bates. We appreciate you, man. I'm going to do a little housekeeping here. Jason Clabb in the house says, ha, this is always his defense in the big moments. He plays soft at the end of the games instead of sticking with what is working. He was in man coverage, my buddy.
Yeah, that's not playing soft. Soft was what was working. I was waiting all night. I was waiting all night for an adjustment, and we didn't get it. Like, what? Just stop blitzing this guy.
Right. And here's the thing, too, Jason.
Buy him or something. Fall back, like
Jason,
some of that Joe Barry pre-event defense everyone hates.
Yeah. Jason, here's the thing, too, man. The only time I hear from you are comments like this. They're negative. On Twitter, the only interaction you have with me on Twitter is to disagree or be negative. What are we doing, man? What's the point? Like, what's the point? Is it just to disagree? Because if it is, let's just part ways, man. I ain't a big deal, Like I don't. This is exactly the type of people I'm talking about. Ha! This always his defense in the big moments. Like you're actively rooting for the Packers to be bad so you can feel like you're correct on something. And you're saying they're playing soft, but they're actually playing man coverage. They're not playing the soft quarters coverage. Like it's the secondhand embarrassment. This is what LaFleur was talking about at his presser when he says, when people make comments like that, they just expose themselves. And it's embarrassing. It's like, you really think you're doing something here, bro. And you're not. You're 100% inaccurate. I don't understand it. I don't understand the fans that want to be miserable. It's bad enough the team lost, right? The only thing you should do is, if you see it, you got to say it. What happened and why did it happen, right? Instead, you're choosing to go a route to create a different narrative, a different spin, so you feel like you were correct about something. It makes no sense, man. As soon as I seen man coverage, Tim, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There it is. I just wanted to go, why did we even have to talk about it in the pregame? Because that's the explosive plays we talk about. Yep. Smug Industries with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He said, did Rashawn Gary play tonight? Yes, he did. And he rushed upfield all night long, right past the quarterback. I think they were expecting DeVito to scramble right and left horizontally. And all he did was stepped up in that pocket, tucked it, and ran. Because he, again, step up in the pocket, the rush goes right by you, and you see nothing but the backs of jerseys. Tuck that thing and go, man. That's what happened all night long. They put a spy on him a couple of times, and he stood in the pocket and hammered a corner route. And it was like, okay, that's a good quarterback play there. He recognized the spy and made the play. A couple of times they shut him down on some of those scrambling opportunities. But, again, at the end, man, you turn the ball over 3 times, right? Your quarterback fumbles once, throws an interception. Your punt returner, after the defense got a huge stop, fumbles the ball and gives them excellent field position where they just take it right in and get a touchdown. You can't win ball games like that. That's the story of the game. I know everyone wants to immediately go to this is all Joe Barry's fault, but the story of the game is turnover differential. It's boring. I get why people don't want to talk about it. But, yeah, as far as Rashawn Gary, though, Smug, appreciate the super chat, buddy. Yeah, they had a good game plan, man. Rushed him right upfield, step up in the pocket, and made him a non-factor, just like they made everyone else a non-factor. Not one sack, right, Tim, to the best of my knowledge?
Yep, none.
Let me double-check just to make sure. But, yeah, there were no sacks, and there was only one quarterback hit, and it was by Rashawn Gary. Only one quarterback hit the entire night. So, there you have it. Tough look for sure. Let's see here. Brooke in the chat says, we said the way we lose this is shooting ourselves in the foot. How the heck did this happen? We pretty much just covered it, Brooke. Turnover differential, right? Turning the ball over, not playing complimentary football. The Keyshawn Nixon, and did you notice too on the following kickoff, Tim, after the Giants took it in, Jaden Reed was returning it?
Yep.
They took Keyshawn off kick return. All right, look, if you're going to be careless with the ball.
What is going on? I thought we brought Bisaccia in and promoted him to shore this up.
Mm-hmm.
And our special teams is, I don't know. I don't want to go down that road again, but we're,
Here we are, right?
here we are. Just
Now,
just
special
when we
teams,
thought we weren't liability, bottom barrel special teams, we're starting to trend that way again. The most penalized special teams unit in football. And our assistant head coach and special teams coordinator is supposed to be the, he's like the Matt LaFleur of special teams, right? He's supposed to be the special teams guru, and we have guys that are on this roster that were handpicked by him to come here and contribute. Keyshawn being one of them, Dallin Levitt being one of them. And, I don't know what Home Depot he's working at now or whatever he's doing, but something's going on in with the special teams room. I don't know. And a lot of these they were shoot yourself in the foot kind of mistakes. Keyshawn did the right thing on that. When you muff a putt, man, that's right. You got to fall on it. But I don't know where you're thinking it's at any point in time in the NFL. If you think you're going to pick that ball up and run again with it, you better get that out of your head. I like Carly's comment in the chat group on Twitter when she said, well, Keyshawn will never make that mistake again.
Right.
Because she's right. Carly Rae's absolutely right about that. I fully believe that. I don't think Keyshawn will ever do. I mean, he may muff another punt again at some point in his career, but I don't think he's going to do anything but fall on it if it happens again. But no, it's just, I don't know. It's sad, man. I don't know what's going on, but that costly mistakes, in all phases of the game tonight. But special teams is starting to concern me again. And I don't know. It's not a good place to be right now. And, we haven't even talked about our kicking game. We didn't talk about Anders tonight. We didn't talk about even Daniel Whelan wasn't putting the ball particularly like his old self tonight. So got to shore up special teams here going forward.
Yeah, you have to. Jake Shavink says in the chat, I don't think Shell would have done anything, honestly. They did a nice job releasing guys late for 8 or 9 yards. Yeah, they were grabbing those chunks with the delayed leaks. There's no doubt about it. I'm just saying it would have been nice for them to have to attempt a 48-yarder instead of a chip shot because you went aggressive, But, it is what it is, right? Either way, both styles of defense have their pros and cons. Anybody who knows me, my personality leans toward the, hey, look, let's bend but don't break. Let's don't make the big mistake. And sometimes you make the big mistake, and then other times you make the big play, right? So let's see what else Jake says here real quick. Then we'll get to John's super chat. Jake says the real frustration should be directed towards Massatia, the special teams unit. Yeah, just like Tim was saying, Jake. It's you talk about the missed field goal. How many field goals did he miss? 2? Am I thinking right, Tim?
No, just the one. I think.
Was it just one?
You think he missed?
Look at me trying to throw Anders under the bus. Obviously, the fumble there is a tough one too. But yeah, just not a good night for special teams. There's no doubt about that. John Benson with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Jordan Love did not throw accurate on easy layups. Too many end arounds. Good game plan against the run, but could not get pressure. I don't blame Joe on this one. Players didn't step up. On some of the big runs too, the part that really bothered me was the missed tackles, and Troy was calling it out too. There was a ton of missed tackles. Where do you see this tackle grade tomorrow? Jordan Love's grade is going to be low. I'm with you, Tim. I would be surprised if the pass blocking gets a decent grade. And also, obviously, Keyshawn Nixon, both on defense and special teams, he's probably going to grade out in the red. It was that bad. He got burned all night, missing tackles. Just a tough look all the way around. Thank you so much, John. We appreciate the super chat, buddy. Let's see here. Smug Industries with the super chat says, am I crazy for thinking Love wasn't that bad tonight? He was throwing some dimes in the second half. Play calling didn't do him any favors. It was definitely the tale of two halves. I agree, Smug. Like I was saying, down the stretch, he played pretty good. That first half, though, man, those throws were horrible. That one curl they ran, and he literally threw it 4 yards off the mark and almost threw a pick. That was a turnover-worthy play there. Oh, by the way, Devondre Campbell, that was a turnover-worthy play. He just didn't come up with the pick. Immediately on Twitter, somebody tagged me and said, what are they doing with Devondre Campbell in coverage? Man coverage. That's how you end up that far down the field.
That man coverage that you guys all wanted so bad because you're such experts on football. Yeah. That's what
if
it got.
If you play man. But to bring someone in to play quarters in Fangio style and then just all of a sudden abandon it and say, all right, we're going to play man. It just felt kind of like on offense. Tim's a little too cute. a little too cute.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, Smug, thank you so much for the super chat, man. I think it was definitely the tell of two halves there. Andy with the super chat, appreciate you, buddy. He said, if you see it, you got to say it. That last defensive drive was inexcusable. It was so easy for Tommy. Wide open guys before the big man coverage bust. You're playing bend but don't break there. You're playing quarters, like Jake pointed out.
You're intentionally giving up that underneath.
You're basically saying we will give you those yards to chew up the clock. That's the trade-off there. Now you could play man coverage or play aggressive. Both, like I said, both have their pros, both have their cons. When you look at how it unfolded, the leaks are the key there. That's what Jake Shavink was just saying. They were just releasing underneath. How do you combat that? You keep people in underneath zone a little more aggressive rather than bailing out and trying to take away that second window. But then basically the way that read is for DeVito is, okay, second level, if the backers drop, the leak's going to be there, right? If the backers stay in, the second window is there, or the second level is there with the digs and whatnot. I had to look at the all 22 to make sure, but to me, it looked like they were attacking high-low in that sense with some digs coming across the middle. So in that situation, you've got two options for that specific defense. Do you give him the dig and make him throw the deeper pass, or do you give him the leak? If you're asking me, I'm probably giving him the leak, and that's what they did. But you're right, it didn't work. But again, the man coverage was the big one. Like nobody, I respect your opinion, Andy, but nobody's going to convince me that the man coverage play wasn't the killer there, right? The whole object
was the killer all night long, every time they ran it.
Right. It's how you end up with Dre in coverage downfield. I'll be very, very surprised if Dre was in zone coverage and his assignment was, hey, cover 30 yards down the field along the boundary. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be man coverage, or at least zone match with man principles, where he maybe got walked out with a wheel route or something. So, yeah, like Jake said in the pregame too. I think it was the pregame, or maybe it was last night. He said in the chat, other defensive coordinators are going to do something similar when they come in. The difference you're going to get in other defensive coordinators is they may coach the guys a little bit better on technique, tackling, things like that. But you guys know my opinion is we draft for high ceiling guys, and typically they're not, quote unquote, as football ready, right? When you get a high ceiling, sometimes you get a low floor. You kind of playing that game. On the surface, it seemed like Lucas Van Ness had a pretty decent game. There was a couple times he stopped the run, but I didn't see him as often as I thought he would either. Preston Smith disappeared tonight too. I know we're all on Rashawn Gary because of the contract. I got you, I understand, but don't remember seeing much of Preston Smith at all. So, but Andy, thank you for the super chat, buddy. When you say it was inexcusable, man, I agree. The 3 turnovers were inexcusable too. The getting cute with the play column was inexcusable too. The leaving a minute and a half on the clock when you're going down to score the go-ahead touchdown was inexcusable. Like I said, Keyshawn Nixon not just falling on the ball was inexcusable. Matt LaFleur going out there and eating Patrick Taylor's lunch for not getting out of bounds, man, that's not the tone you want to set either. I'm sorry. I understand why you're frustrated. You think every Packer fan wasn't screaming the same way Matt LaFleur was, but you've got to be the leader. You've got to keep that. Like, what that tells your team is, damn, our coach is rattled. He's nervous. He's scared right now. He thinks we're going to lose this game. Rather than calm, cool, collective, pull him to the side. Yeah, you can ream him out on the sideline, but to do it the way he did and throw a little temper tantrum, man, that's not a good look. But anyway, Andy, thank you so much for the super chat, bud. Appreciate it. Let's see if there's anything else we can hit on in here in the chat. Let's go to the box score real quick. You want to look at the stats real quick, Tim? Is that cool with you?
No.
He said no, but we're going to. Talk about it, right? So Jordan Love finished 25 of 39 for 218, had a touchdown, had an interception. He was sacked twice, passer rating of 76.7. Comparing him to Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito was 17 of 21. 17 of 21 for 158, a touchdown with a passer rating of 113.9. Saquon Barkley, 20 carries for 86 yards. He averaged 4.3 a pop. Of course, Tommy DeVito scrambling, 10 carries, 71 yards. The read option, the huge chunk play on the read option. I challenge everybody, go watch that. You can see it on the TV copy too. Watch Kingsley and Igbare and how he doesn't stay at home. He just crashes on the running back and leaves that read option wide open. That's the big problem there. And then, of course, I mean, he was juking linebackers out of their shoes. Tommy DeVito was. Yep. So just tough. As far as the running game, A.J. Dillon never really did get it together. 15 carries for 53 yards, only 3.5 a pop. Jaden Reed had 4 carries for 38 yards. Patrick Taylor, 4 carries for 30 yards. And then, of course, A.J. Dillon had the 2 catches. That one, that long there of 35, he looks like he lost 10 yards on the other catch, which is just absolutely crazy to think about. But he was a little bit of a factor in the passing game. Tucker Kraft, man, it sucks that it's a loss, but kind of a coming out party for Tucker Kraft. 4 catches for 64 yards, caught all 4 targets. We may have something there at the tight end position. Jaden Reed, 8 catches, 27 yards. Like, you're only averaging 3.4 yards a catch. You could tell they schemed to take him away. Another thing you got to put into consideration, too, in the second half was Dontavian Wicks going out with the injury. Yeah. I know Devontae Wyatt went out with the injury shortly, too, but Keyshawn Nixon had 2 fumbles, lost 1, recovered 1. Was that on the same play, Tim? I guess it was, wasn't it? That's where you get the 2 fumbles. Am I thinking right, or did he fumble another time?
Yeah, they're calling the muff punt a fumble, basically.
And he picked it up.
And then he fell on it and decided to try and get up with it, and that's when he coughed it up again. Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense. So 2 fumbles on 1 play is a bad look. I don't care which way you slice it. Jordan Love had his fumble that he lost there. Obviously didn't protect the football. On defense, Darnell Savage led the way with 7 tackles, but, man, he missed – I think I counted 3 missed tackles. His tackle grade is going to be pretty bad, even though he led the team in tackles. Isaiah McDuffie played pretty decent, it seemed like, had 1 tackle for a loss, kind of set the tone early there. Devontae Wyatt had a tackle for a loss. Kenny Clark had 2 tackles for a loss. Like I said, Rashawn Gary had the only quarterback hit. Not a whole lot there. Just a tough look all the way around. Let's go back to the chat here real quick. On defense, Tim, what stuck out to you on defense? You're kind of a defensive guy. And listen, if you disagree with me, it's cool. I want people to disagree with me. I just don't want people, cheering the fact that the Packers, lost the game. You know what I mean? And coming in here to dunk on people.
I was seeing it like you were pretty much over pursuit. Over aggressive, on the blitzes. Guys are just getting, washed out of plays. They're, you're getting your man beat, which is good. But yeah, you're over pursuing, and then this kid just steps up and, you got DeVito looking like Mike Vick. It's just the Packers were not ready for that. They did not think for a second. I agree with the thought that maybe they thought he'd bounce around laterally and try and pick us apart, but to just allow this to happen all day and not adjust, I was one thing that stuck out to me. That was frustrating, that there was no adjustment. It just continued. We continued to do the same thing over and over again, and we still didn't get a sack. We still didn't get the pressure on him. So, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And we saw a little bit of insanity with our approach today. Defensively, guys were not gap disciplined. We talked about, you just mentioned Enagbare there, breaking his contain there on the edge, which cost us dearly. So there was plenty of mistakes to go around defensively. I'm trying to think of who had a really good game today. Who really played well today. I think you're right. LVN looked pretty good. McDuffie was, I feel like McDuffie was probably playing the hardest out there. I really do. That defense didn't look like they had that fire that it had, these last couple of weeks. So I don't know. It's just tough loss, demoralizing loss, man. This is, it's not over. We don't need to get too down in the dumps. There's still a chance we make the playoffs, but it's a little bit slimmer of a chance now. So
yeah, definitely. We got Emilio in here now. Emilio come in to clean it up, man. How many daddy sodas you had tonight, Emilio? I need
too many.
Too many.
I kept pausing the game, so I got a little delayed by the time I got on here. I looked down and I said, uh-oh. But it's like one of those where you put the phone to the side and it's just buzzing anyway. So you're just like, all right, I'm just going to sit through it. And then by the time I looked down, I was like, oh, man, I am late to the party.
Oh, Lord. I think we just missed the fireworks. Justin from Packernet Podcast just texted me and said, damn, LaFleur just hammered Keyshawn on a live press conference. He's not wrong, but dang, dude, save that for a personal conversation.
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, you saw they made the decision fast enough to pull him off returns. I mean, who was returning kicks after he fumbled that?
Guys, this just confirms it now. There's something going on.
Yeah.
Right? There's a disconnect. There's some weird energy going on, because that's not cool. Right? That's not cool, man. Like, you can't, like you just said, Clayton, lighten them up on the sideline during the game. The Patrick Taylor incident, kind of, not incident, but just, that approach, and then you follow it up. Like, I don't know, man. That's not a good look.
I missed it, Tim. You're good with him yelling at Patrick Taylor, or you're not?
I'm not good with that. I'm with Clayton on that there's a better way to handle that.
So I guess all I would say is I feel like that's how coaching has been. I mean, from when I played, it was like, dude, if you need a response, maybe it's just because we were younger, but you responded more well to like having like punishments or like, like a raised voice kind of thing. But I totally get you on that. Like, it's tough, especially when everybody's eyes are on it. Like,
yeah. And
if you look at Taylor, he knew the minute he cut back in, he turned around like, oh, what am I doing? So he knows he screwed up. So to come off the field and get it from your coach like that.
No, I hear you there for sure.
Like, and then, like it. I
I
can't wait to watch the presser. I want to hear what he said, because
we've got it right here. I know people are going to say they're paid athletes, they can handle it. John
That's
Madden,
not what it's about, though.
Right. John Madden used to say, I remember John Madden in A Football Life, he said, there's nothing worse, like when a player makes a mistake, for you to go out there and yell at them, it does nothing for them, right? They know they messed up.
Yep.
It's bothering them more than it's bothering you. So what good's it going to do to try to embarrass them in front of everyone, right? Listen, I grew up with some hard coaches. I'm just telling you. Coach Morris, Roger Morris, he's in the Kentucky High School football or baseball Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame, I should say. That man was as hard as they come, but he was a darn good coach. Some people respond to a pat on the rear end. Others respond to being scolded. And a good coach, a good leader, understands what each player needs. They said Lombardi was perfect at it. He had it down to a T. People said, he treated everybody the same, like dogs. And other people that played for him, other players came out and said, no, he didn't. He treated this guy totally different than he treated this guy. It's one of those things in Matt LaFleur's coaching style that's definitely a negative. I'm not calling for him to be fired. You guys heard us. We just talked about he's literally top 10 all time in winning percentage. So we need to back off that a bit. You can fan how you want to fan. I'm just saying I'm backing off that a little bit.
Right.
But, you got to call it, as you see it now. Hopefully we can hear this. You know how they do, man. These pressers, it's like you can hear the reporters, but you can't hear the coaches. He looks like he's holding that mic pretty firm, though. My man looks pissed. Let's see what Coach LaFleur had to say. This may not even include that, what Justin was talking about, but it's a 4-minute clip that the Packers posted, so it may be edited. So viewer discretion is advised. Here we go.
Execute to the best of our ability.
Look at him.
He's already
about to spike it.
He is so mad, bro.
Give me a janky mic again and see what happens.
So you guys play so well the last couple of weeks. Did you sense anything like this coming during the week, or what?
No, not at all. That's why it's disappointing. You get a Monday night game and a big stage, and I thought we had a good week of preparation. I thought our guys, in practice it was pretty clean, but ultimately you got to do it on game day.
What did Tommy DeVito show you tonight?
Oh, he's a hell of a competitor. Certainly, we were running by him left and right. Couldn't get him. We ended up with 0 sacks, I believe. And they've, I think, 69 coming into this game. So, give credit to them. They obviously outcoached us, outplayed us. But I felt like a lot of times we had flybys right by the quarterback, and we didn't, for whatever reason, just missed the quarterback.
Man, what happened on the final drive there on your defensive side of the ball?
We obviously gave up too many chunk plays, lost our leverage twice, and, gave up, like I said, just explosive plays. Explosive plays lead to points. You cannot do that in that critical situation. We were way off on one of the throws where they get an easy hitch and get like 10 yards. So it was just bad ball.
You mentioned you were disappointed, but how critical is it to lose a game like this at this stage?
They're all critical.
Hey, do these questions bother anybody else? Like, does it not feel like they're just trying to trigger him? Like, how bad does it feel, coach, to lose a game like this? You know what
That's
I'm saying?
exactly what they're trying to do.
Oh, it drives me nuts, man.
They're all critical. So, you know, but we better have a short memory. You got to learn from it and move on. And we're on a short week now against a team that also in Tampa that's fighting for their playoff lives and you know, the leaders of their division. So we're gonna have to play a lot better than we did tonight in order to come out on top.
Yeah, I think there's like 6 teams in that 6 and 7 spot. You guys are one of them. What's it going to take over the final month to separate yourselves from that group?
You got to play. You got to play. You got to execute, and you got to play good football, and you got to play complementary football. It's got to be all 3 phases. I thought we were hurt early in the game with a lot of penalties, but you could look and nitpick each phase of the game. Special teams wasn't good enough. Offense wasn't good enough. Defense wasn't good enough. So all 3 collectively, and when you're bad in all 3 phases, that's what happens. You lose the game.
How do you think you handled the pressure today? It looked like maybe it forced Jordan a little off target on some of the throws.
I thought for the most part, I mean, they got us a couple times, but for the most part, I thought, you know, we were off in the pass game in general. It felt just missed a few throws here and there, which is going to happen. I thought he was pretty resilient in his approach in terms of just continuing to battle, and obviously threw a touchdown pass there at the end of the game. Had another one that, you know, we didn't come down with. But all in all, you know, consistently throughout the course of the game, just was not good enough.
And on the end-around plays that you really, a couple of them got stuffed up early on. What made you go back to it then for that last play of the 2-point conversion?
Yeah, it's just obviously a bad call.
And on Keyshawn's fumble, when a guy muffs it,
Here we go.
Just better off just staying.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't do that. I mean, you're kind of in a panic mode anyways when you muff the ball, and then you gather that, and you know, just not the smartest play in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You guys good? Thank you. Take care.
All right, that was it. I don't think there's anything else to it. So, Justin, buddy, I know you're listening to this tomorrow at work. I don't know if you're trying to get me riled up or what, big dog, but I didn't think it was too bad. What did you think, Emilio? What he said about Keyshawn? I mean, he did say you can't do that.
Right. I mean, what else are you going to say, though? You know, right. At that point, it's like, hey, no. I mean, I'd rather let him fumble it. Well, no, I mean, you got to hop on it, hold on to it. So, but it was kind of the fact that it was a couple compounded issues with Keyshawn. You know, if it was just a fumble, we would have been all right. If it wasn't him that got burned on that, you know, that corner out there to get him into field goal range, then we would probably not be as mad at him. But, you know, after he fumbles and you stack on, you know, a missed tackle, stack on the, you know, the missed coverage there, it gets a bad taste in your mouth. And Matt's got that bad taste right now. He's not happy with him, and they're just prodding him. I mean, I wouldn't want to be answering questions like that right now, but
no, not at all.
You know, they're professionals. It's got to happen. It's what they do. It's part of the job. But, you know, they always got to answer.
Yeah, definitely. Badger Trio says another or after last year, Nixon's so frustrating this year. Yeah, it's a tough look for sure. That's why we went ahead and played that to try to get that soundbite. Appreciate you, Badger Trio. Jennifer Wright with the super chat. Thank you so much. I like when Reed missed that touchdown. Throw. Dobbs put his arm around him. Wicks went out. A lot to learn from, but season is not over. Completely agree. Completely agree. Still a shot at the playoffs. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, hey, this team can go on a big run, you know, when you play like tonight. If they could have pulled that win off, right, somehow, some way, you come out going, man, how do you still win that ball game down the stretch? But didn't happen. But you do have to listen, Jordan Love played horrible, absolute booty cheeks first half. But down the stretch, showed a little moxie, got it in the end zone when you needed it, right? Then it goes back on the defense and Barry, you know, for sure. But thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it. United Bates says, I don't see that as him calling out Nixon. He's going to be asked 1,000 times about it. He has to answer. He didn't bring it up and blast him. I agree. United Base. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. I completely agree. I don't think that was bad at all. So maybe Justin just heard the last part and not the entire presser. You know, if you just hear that, you're thinking, damn, he's throwing Keyshawn under the bus.
Right.
He threw everybody on the bus. He threw himself under the bus too. You know.
So like I said, it was a team loss. Like we said at the top, you know, team loss.
That's it. What's more telling, like I said, I think is the fact that he got yanked off the kicking. You know, he got yanked off returns. He got yanked off punt returns. You got yanked off kick returns also. That's more telling. I mean, we didn't have the backup Slaughter. I feel like they're going to start yanking him from there now.
We gotta figure something out quick then, because we cannot possibly put another thing on Jaden Reed's plate right now. I mean, this dude we're jet sweeps and running routes and now your kicks and punts. Like, man, like
and that was we talked about that before, like Tim and Clayton, when we were trying to, look at the outside zone. The only thing we had for outside zone was Jaden Reed or jet sweeps. Like, that's all we had for outside zone. AJ Dillon was eating. He was harvesting corn today. But besides that, nobody else was grinding it. Like, we couldn't get any outside runs. We couldn't get it to the outside. We were up the middle or passing. We got one dimensional quick, and it showed.
John Deere green on a hot summer night.
It's not near as funny after a lot.
No,
it's really not.
I needed to see that once, though. I needed to see it.
Yeah, we got to have it, man. You kidding me? That's what we're here for. We're here to lean on each other.
But for real, though, you see him break all those tackles, take it. I mean, feed that man.
Feed him. Out there with that straw hat on. John Benson, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He said you're better than Nagler, LOL. I don't know what to say to that.
I can only imagine what kind of meltdown's happening over there right now.
Yeah.
And listen. I got to be honest. I like Cheesehead TV. Okay, I do. I like sober Nagler better than drunk Nagler. I'm just going to put that on the record. I guarantee you, sober Nagler would like sober Clayton better than drunk Clayton, right? I just choose not to kind of show that side. I guess there's some form of respect you give to someone that's willing to get that sauced up and talk live stream. I've got a bad enough self-image. I don't like to talk on camera sober. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't imagine me slobbering over myself. Not that he is. I'm saying I would be if I had to listen. There's some Tennessee bourbon right here on the other side over here on the bar setup. Can't dip into that. Not allowed to drink at a loss either, boys. That leads to
words
bad.
get flowing, right, Clayton?
Yep.
Yeah, bad words get the flow. And what ends up happening is you'll hear a knock on this door.
Uh-oh.
And Mandy will call me Thomas, which is my middle name. We started dating when I was 17 and she was 15. So she heard my parents say many times, when they use the name Thomas, it's about to hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
So when she breaks out Thomas, it's I straighten up. You know what I mean? But all right, let's see here. Number one Packer fan coming in positive. But again, John, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He said, I just left Cheesehead TV. It's not that bad, LOL. So good deal. Glad they're holding it together over there for sure, man. And look at this turn into the Nagler chat. I like it. 2-0 for this says Nagler's a lot nicer in person than on the chats. I think we all are, to be honest with you. But yeah. All right. With that being said, we're at the 48-minute mark. We can continue to hit stats. We could talk about other things. Definitely got in all the super chats. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you guys got any more questions, comments in the chat, I don't think there's any reason for 160 people to just hang out in here and be miserable together. But we're here for that if you need us. All right. Badger Trio right on cue with the super chat says, Love got late game lead. We've seen growth. No INT at the end. That's what I was trying to say, man. That's one positive coming out of it. Again, I'm not trying to deny the fact that he played horrible in the first half. And I'm not trying to sit here and say this was a good defensive performance. I just wish we could see us stay with zone match rather than kind of switching up the man there and getting burned at the end. That's the tough part for me because you never get a true answer. You know what I'm saying? You never get a true evaluation. It's just tough. But
do you think it was because they were in a lot of like cover one, Meg, that we kind of thought, hey, we need to kind of go to that as well? Because I mean, they were in it. It seemed like they were in cover one a lot. Even when we did it, the problem is we ran cover one Meg a couple times, and I saw late there Savage had to close on DeVito when he was climbing the pocket. Like at that point, I think we were bringing 5, and when Savage closed, there was nobody else over there. So, it's tough.
Yeah, for me, I think the difference between the two defenses is their pass rush hit home and ours didn't.
We were running crazy though. I mean, like Matt was saying, we were 5
right
yards up the field. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
You guys got to create the pocket when you rush.
All right. That was tough. That was a tough one, tough pill to swallow. But, the positive coming out of it, too, is like what Coach LaFleur said. You kind of reset, man. You kind of read your press clippings a little bit. I don't know. That's a little unfair to say. We don't know if they actually did. It sure looks like it on the surface. But you go back and you learn from it, right? That's what you got to do. Badger Trio, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Tim Reese with the super chat. Thanks, pal. Appreciate you. He said, decision-making from the start let us down. These guys are the best in the biz. How does this happen? Everybody has a bad night, That place, too, man, there were a lot of Packer fans there.
Mm-hmm.
But I did notice down the stretch when the Giants kind of started to pull away a bit, it got loud. That place was buzzing. And I listen, I know Packer fans don't want to hear this, but every time they showed the DeVito family, I was kind of grinning a little bit like they're really buying into a bad football team. And you got to respect that. Like that place looked like they were excited about their team tonight. Mm-hmm. And as a rival fan base, what have you, kind of cool to see, You got to give credit where credit's due. They beat them, And again, we're not surprised. We talked about it. We got made fun of for talking about it. What do you mean trap game?
Right.
This is what it looks like, Don't want to speak it into existence, but it kind of is what it is, Thanks, though, Tim. We appreciate you, buddy. As far as, let me get back to your question. We didn't really answer it. How does this happen? Let's go around the horn here with that. Decision making from the start let us down. These guys are the best in the biz. How does this happen? I'm assuming you're talking about Love because turning the ball over twice. To me, as far as him being kind of careless with the ball tonight, it looked like he was a little hopped up, man. Like he was, trying too hard early on. I noticed some of the balls. Did you notice the wobblers, Tim, Emilio? There were several wobblers that come out. But typically what that is you're trying to overthrow the football. You're trying to put too much on it, right? Yep. And you're not just – and the second half looked like a totally different quarterback. Touch on the passes, good accuracy. A couple of times he threw them underneath. I'm going, he's going to overthrow it. No. Well, look, okay, the accuracy settled down. It's what we've seen earlier in the year, the inaccuracy kind of came back. You guys want to take a shot at that, Tim, Emilio, that question there?
I don't think we from the start, decision-making letting us down, I can see. I think we tried to get out and get going early. We kind of predicted that if we win the toss, we're going to take the ball, right? And we saw that. We won the toss, we took the ball, and we came out and we were pretty aggressive pretty early. And you talk about that pregame, Clayton, about trying to do too much, too quick, too fast, and not build a rhythm. Neither one of these teams really settled into a rhythm.
They didn't.
So that you got yourself into a bar fight. That's what happened. Went to New York and got in a bar fight. That's what happened tonight. And decision making in crunch time is crucial. And we made some boneheaded, knuckleheaded mistakes today. And there's very few people that are on the roster or on that staff that are absolved from that. I mean, there were mistakes around. I couldn't believe the wasted challenge we had for Matt LaFleur on that one.
That was rough.
I mean, he was literally standing right there watching it. The play happened 5 feet in front of him.
And watching the replay.
And you're getting replay and you still threw the challenge flag. It's like, my goodness. But, I mean, that's the least of our concerns. But, scheme wise, I think defensively, the thing that let me down the most was the fact that I just didn't see any adjustments made, not even at halftime. Like, we didn't even come out with a different look or anything, and it just went from bad to worse. And then, of course, in true Packer fashion, we found a way to still be in the game. The game never really was truly away from us in this one. And we stuck around and thought we were going to sneak out of there and steal it, but we didn't. Lack of execution and some boneheaded mistakes and poor decision making. I can see it.
Definitely. Randy Steen, thank you for the super chat, man. He said, not sure if it was discussed, but the 2-point play call seems strange to me. That play stopped working 3 quarters ago. Wish the ball stayed in Love's hands. I agree. And it's kind of what they just asked Matt about that, didn't they, Emilio? And he said, just a bad call. It's a bad call. So,
I think he maybe had gone to the well a couple too many times with it. But like I was saying earlier, we weren't getting anything else stretch-wise from the running game, or we didn't try it. I mean, I don't really remember seeing A.J. Dillon go out on a couple stretch plays. It seemed like we were, leaning on the pass a little heavy. It looked like he was trying to pass to open the run, and I would have liked it the other way around again. But it's been working for us. So why stop it? That's why we were marching down the field the past couple of games, is we were leaning heavier on that. But RG3 broke it down at the beginning of, pregame. The Matt's 4 S's, shrink, show, set up, and snap or something was the other one. But like, Love was eating them up with the play action, but I didn't see a lot of it tonight, that actually worked out for anything. And on top of that, it seemed like you said it, everyone was trying to make things happen. Everyone was trying to stretch it a little long. When Patrick Taylor got yelled at, he was trying to make an extra move. He was trying to get more yards. Love was trying to, drive those passes in, put them a little too hot. Carlson was trying to, drive the leg and put it a little wide. And it seemed like everyone was kind of reaching. They filled the hole, they missed it. McDuffie got thrown over on one of them runs. It was everybody. It wasn't just the offense and defense, special teams. All 3 phases struggled tonight, and it showed. I mean, we saw that, this being a trap game. But now it's on the list of, hey, we fell into a trap game. It happened. We fell into the booby trap. We got hit. Now we need to make sure that the rest of these, if they are so-called trap games moving forward, the same thing doesn't happen. But
it's crazy too. If you like look at the box score, you could say, how does the defense give up 24 points? They lost this game.
Mm-hmm.
And someone could counter and say, well, you turned the ball over 3 times. And
right.
You go, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then you go, well, you lost by 2 points. If you just hit that 4th field goal, then you win by 1, right? And it's like, yeah, but he hit 3 or 4. Like you're literally walking circles. It's the epitome of a team loss.
Yep.
It's just not playing complimentary football all the way around the board. So,
hang on, fellas. I got early morning. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, get out of here, buddy.
Appreciate the fans. Hit that like button over here, right down there, underneath Tim once I leave. And appreciate everyone, man. Go Pack.
Appreciate you, man. Have a good night, Emilio.
Good night, Emilio.
And again, Randy, thank you for the super chat, pal. We appreciate you. I think there was one more in here. Yeah, I'm trying to get down to it. I apologize. Seti with the super chat. I have to remind myself each week that this is the youngest offense in the NFL. I see good stuff from the young guys each week, and they never give up. Very well said. Again, I think if you had said 5 weeks ago we're going to beat the Chargers, the Lions, and the Chiefs, you'd have probably said you're smoking crack, right? There ain't no way that this young team's going to beat those 3 teams, right? So this right here kind of puts you back on par with a chance to make the playoffs, but you're not kind of riding high in the playoffs like, hey, look, if we get hot, we could maybe go kind of deep into the playoffs. I don't think anybody thinks this team can compete with the 49ers or even the Cowboys for that matter, right? I think at this point it's just, like Matt said, grow from the loss, right? Coach LaFleur said, grow from the loss, figure out how to get better, and you got the youngest roster in the league. It is what it is. Tough loss, no doubt about it. But I think that's very well said what you said there, though, Seti, and we appreciate the super chat, man. Let's do this, Tim. Let's give away a jersey. You want to? Let's do something positive here, man. Feels funereal in here. You know what I mean? So
get us a win. Let's get a win for the night here.
We're going to end it on a win.
That's
all
right.
So all of the members of the PTA posse, right? If you guys are new here, people who are members of the YouTube group, you can join right here on the YouTube channel on the homepage. We enter you into a contest to win autographed memorabilia. Okay, so tonight we're going to be giving away an autographed Robert Brooks jersey. Jeff Silkey just won the autographed Dorsey Levens jersey. That's going to be mailed out here in a couple of days. So congratulations to him. This is going to be for the autographed Robert Brooks jersey. What we're going to do here, guys, we're going to spin it 3 times just in case someone doesn't claim the prize. That has happened before because some people don't always watch the channel. So with that being said, let's spin it 3 times and see who wins this autographed Robert Brooks jersey. Here we go.
Big money, no whammy. Big money, no whammy. What do we got?
The first place winner is Stinson. So if Stinson's in the chat tonight, email me, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com, and we will get your address and get that jersey sent out to you. We're going to spin it 2 more times just in case Stinson doesn't come forward, and we're going to give you ample enough time, roughly a week, to claim that prize. The second one is No Limit _Coop. No Limit _Coop is the second place winner. And then let's do it one more time just to be safe and make sure we give it away.
Here we go. Third stringer. Here we go. Third on the depth chart.
Tommy DeVito. What we got here? Will. All right, Will. That'll be a tough one to prove that it's you. Such a common name. We'll have to do 2 or 3 checks to make sure someone isn't stealing that jersey from good old Will. But it is what it is. Let's get back to the chat here. So, again, congratulations to Stinson for winning the autographed Robert Brooks jersey. Just shoot me an email, packersolaccess@gmail.com, no limit _coop. If that's you, shoot me the same email in case Stinson doesn't come forward, and then Will shoot me an email too in case those top 2 don't come forward. So let's get back to the chat here real quick. AJJ with the super chat. Thank you so much. We are still holding the 7th seed and in control of the destiny. Is that right? Even after the loss tonight, still the 7th seed. That's pretty wild, Tim. So good news, right?
Yeah. Are we sure about that? You sure about that?
We appreciate the super chat there, AJJ, but can you confirm?
Can we
that
confirm?
that is legit true? Can Jake?
Whatever. It's not for long, right? So
sure
it'll change
about
either way.
You sure about that?
Jake Shavink, do me a favor, man. Double check that. Fact check that for me. We would love to know if that's true or not, because that's great news that you can have an absolute dumpster fire of a game and still be the 7th seed. That's pretty wild. Appreciate the super chat, AJJ. I hope you're correct there, man. Chris M with the super chat said, grateful you bring happiness in times of despair. Chris, you know me, and I'm trying, buddy, but it's been a tough one tonight. Twitter was absolute garbage tonight. Like I said, just the people that kind of thriving in the victory of defeat, if that's possible. But it is what it is, man. But I appreciate the kind words. We're always, listen, win, lose, or draw, this season's going to be over soon. I'm not going to be miserable during football season. This is the best time of the year, man. I'm going to enjoy this all year long, and we're going to talk about what happened, why did it happen, all those things, right? And here we go. I was waiting on it. Number 1 Packer fan says, rigged. LOL. I'm going to use the line every time, guys. This is the safest, most secure giveaway in U.S. history. All right. And then, of course, we're going to end it with this with Lucky, with the ever famous
65%.
65%. That's what 65%.
We are the 7th.
Yeah, Zane Strong, member of the PTA posse, says confirmed Packers is the 7th seed. Baby G. All right, there you go. So I think he was trying to say go Pack go. Cool. And then Red Mo says agreed, Clayton offseason is the worst season, man. It's so sad, dude. Especially it's like the coldest part of winter too. February to the draft is just miserable for me. But yeah. All right, cool. Jennifer Wright, she done put me on the spot, says see you for Good Morning Lambeau. I was thinking about taking the morning off, Jennifer, but since you said that, I'll see you for Good Morning Lambeau. All right, we'll do it. Sounds good to me. Tim, parting thoughts, man, on this tough loss here. Giants win 24-22 over the Packers, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got one thing. I might as well complain about something else besides how our team played, right? That coverage tonight was, I'm sorry, but maybe this is just like, I don't care about the Miami game. Like, stop trying to show me 2 games at one time. Just show the game that I'm watching in my market. Like that, what you ended up with when they were trying to do that was like bad coverage of both games. You know, like I'm all for the update. Like we all know we're updated in this world every 5 seconds. Like you're not going to not know what the score is in the other game that's happening. Let's talk about the fact that why were there 2 Monday night games happening at the same time? Why do we ever understand why that? Like what was the significance or the purpose of that? I don't understand that. And then forcing fans to you're taking my big screen TV down a size, and now I'm like Emilio sitting on the wood chair at B-Dubs, right?
He said I spend too much money.
Yeah,
sitting on this hard ASS wooden chair, watching this team lose. Watching this team lose from 20 feet away on a 30-inch TV.
30-inch TV, right? And why is I don't know. Yeah, I'm not I don't know. I'm not a fan of I'm usually, it's not bad. Monday Night Football is like the OG, like you love Monday night. I used to love Monday Night Football as a kid, but like, I don't know, that rubbed me the wrong way where, I'm charting the game, I'm sitting there, I'm locked in, and it's like, what are you doing to my screen? What is going on?
Oh, it's rough. Paul Robertson said you're supposed to watch bowling in February.
Who do you think you are? I am.
You
Supposed
love
to
to
go
see it.
bowling in February.
Everybody, everybody happy. Jennifer put me on the spot and made me commit to Good Morning Lambo. Look, they said, whoop. Jennifer with the smiling emoji. Hey, Jennifer, look at this. And then Greg Rice comes in and just says, gutted. This right here, when you said coverage, I thought you were talking about this. I thought you were going to go there. Zane Strong said, I missed 29. Talking about Rasul Douglas.
No, I was talking about the television coverage.
TV
And we'll see what happens to Troy. We'll see what the league says about his little referee rant. That was hilarious and awesome to watch Joe Buck just squirm trying to cover that, because I don't know, maybe Troy had a couple daddy sodas in him before the game or something, but he totally spoke his mind there on national TV, and you're not allowed to do that in that booth.
Right.
That's a no. So we'll see what happens.
AJJ with the super chat. We appreciate you, buddy. He said, if doing 2 games, why not stagger the start times? Everyone said that very thing, AJJ, and they came back and said there was some kind of strategic purpose. They were trying to get some kind of data gathered. Or I can't remember what the BS excuse was, but I was just like I'm of the opinion, let's have 1 football game every night of the week. I would be cool with that. Like, spread it out. I don't understand this whole having 2 Monday night games at the same time either. It was just silly. And like Tim said, them forcing you to watch a split screen of a game you don't even want to watch is just, it's mind-boggling, man. It really is.
And then and vice versa. Can you imagine the other way around? The AFC fans that are watching the Miami game, and they're like, we don't care about the Packer game. It's just, I don't know.
Yep. Crazy. But again, AJJ, thank you for the super chat. United Bates in the chat says, when we gift memberships, they are chosen by YouTube, and they say it goes to the ones who interact with the channel the most. I have found that not to be true. That is not true at all, Bates. I don't understand how they choose them, but it's completely random, bro, because I'm telling you, man, a lot of these names that we've drawn, we never seen them again, right? And I know you guys are being a blessing, and we appreciate it. And I know people who have won, they definitely appreciate being gifted memberships. But, yeah, it's crazy that it would just randomize it like that. You'd think it would be the ones who engage the most, because I see people that are in here all the time, like Redmo. You know what I mean? We would love Redmo to have one of those subscriptions, and it's gifting it to some rando, right? It's really strange. It is. RDC is another one we see in here a lot, right? I've seen Tony Acevedo in here as well. So yeah. Boy, I said nice things about you, Tony, till you said this. For those disappointed in the team, the NBA had this new in-season tournament you might enjoy. Take your basketball down the street, buddy. Ain't doing it. Ain't doing it. Red Bull said, thank you so much. Thank you, buddy. All right, let's get out of here, guys. I really appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Like I said, tough loss, man, but it's good to get in here and kind of talk it out a little bit. We're going to do a chalk talk this week. We'll be able to kind of dive into what happened on those explosive plays. I may look up to, you guys know me, I usually refrain from making too many detailed comments right after the game, because good night to you, Drew. Appreciate you, buddy. Because, you kind of watch the TV copy. You don't know exactly what the defense was that's covered. But when they hit that explosive on Keyshawn, I went, they look like man. And then Troy said, yeah, they're in man coverage here. And I was just like, God, it was man. I was hoping there would be some kind of zone match, something there, but it was definitely man. But again, we'll break it all down on Chalk Talk and kind of get to the bottom of why everything happened. Had a bunch of notes here, but you guys dominated in the chat. I would rather you guys control the conversation than me just read off my notes. So we appreciate you guys.
I'm still looking for my notes. I don't know where I threw them, Clayton. I don't know.
Hey, it is what it is, dude. Tough loss, man. You're gonna have that on these tough ones. I kept pretty good notes. I got a pretty good idea. Like I said, I won't bore you with all of them. We'll get to it on Chalk Talk. I'll make sure I keep my notes to kind of lean on them a little bit in that regard too, to kind of steer the conversation in the right direction. But again, thanks to everybody who showed up tonight. I got to say this, kudos to you guys, because it'd be real easy to go, I'm going to bed. I don't want to do this. I don't want to watch it. There's nothing wrong with that, but it says a lot about a Packers fan base that wants to talk about a tough loss like this and do it in a respectful way. I'm sure you guys ran across some disrespectful idiots throughout some point of the day. It's probably best just to stay off social media so you don't have those interactions, but I just can't find myself to do it. I can't.
I'm a master, Clayton. I've figured it out.
Yeah.
I can't do it during a game.
It can be miserable, but you got some good ones too. So you miss out on the positive interaction too. It's just that block button got used a couple of times a day. If people want to have a conversation just to be rude and disagree, man, I don't need it. Just don't need it. So I'll hit them with this.
You call me anything you want, but don't call me that.
That's right.
Like Jake Shavink said here in the chat, always doing the responsible thing. We appreciate you, Jake. He said, hit that like button for us. If you guys would, hit the like button so other Packer fans can find this content and all that good stuff. That way, they can find the channel. Let's see. Paul Robertson said, Clayton, Twitter's wearing you down. I look like an aged president, don't I? They go in, they look like they're 50 years old. They come out looking like they're 80.
Yeah.
Except for the most recent one, he went in looking like he was 80. Now he looks like he's 175. But it ages them all, man. It really does. Twitter will do that to you, Paul. It'll wear you down if you let it. But like Coach LaFleur said, I'm a glutton for punishment, right? Sometimes you just got to put your chin out there and take it a couple times, right? So it is what it is. All right, we're out of here, guys. Tim, thank you for shouldering this with me, bro. It's a tough one, but
hey, we're here, good times and bad, right? That's what being a fan is, and supporting your
Absolutely.
team, right? We're gonna ride with them either way. So
yeah. It's like I told Mandy when I started doing this pod, I'm like, listen, now, are you sure you want me? Because it was her idea. She was like, Clayton, you need to start a podcast and start talking ball. I was like, are you sure? Because win, lose, or draw, man, I'm not going to back away. We're going to talk ball if we're going to talk ball. We're not just going to talk ball when it's positive, right? And again, it's just got to get out there and talk about what actually happened. Bill K in the chat says Tommy DeVito has that swagger, the energy, the confidence, the gravitas. Impressed with the chicken cutlet king. What does that mean?
I don't know, but like
I think Bill K might have been in the sauce too. I don't know. You've been hanging out with nags, ain't you, big dog? Nah.
Oh man.
I'm gonna try to drop in over there. Are they still live? Does anybody know if they're still live? I might swing in there and throw them a super chat just for craps and giggles. But anyway. You're right though. Tommy DeVito does have a little swag. Got that chain hanging, right? Let's see. Jake Shavink says, we as a nation will cling to any somewhat decent backup quarterback performance.
Yep.
I noticed you in the chat earlier, Jake. You're usually pretty calm, but you wasn't having that Sean Clifford talk, were you, man? You wasn't having it. So, all right. Jake Shavink said, listen, guys, it's my quarterback. And I agree, that is my quarterback. I got roasted for that earlier, too, on Twitter, man. I took it on the chin on Twitter, man. Got to go log in. I'm looking right now. I've got 74 notifications on Twitter.
Yeah, you still are quarterback, too.
Yeah. I will say this, though. Twitter has blown up. I've gotten over 3 million impressions in the last 28 days. So the interaction's there. It's just, do you want to actually have the interaction? That's the question. So
yeah.
All right. Appreciate you guys. You guys and gals are awesome. We'll see you here in, I don't know, probably about 45 minutes for Good Morning Lambeau. So.
We're going to take a nap. We'll be back.
Yeah. Y'all have a great night. Appreciate you as always. Let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense. Double tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man who's inside. Fullback can tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one shows. Go right by him and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.